Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
We have a podcast below in the description. Subscribe to that as well.
It's sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Yes, it is. #1 vodka in America. Sponsor of this show.
Make yourself a Tito's kickoff this weekend with orange juice, Tito's, and some soda water. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Trent said the other day, or within the last couple weeks, that when he first got here, Bosa was healthy and he went against him. And, you saw Bosa. He was obviously really good, right? I mean, he was awesome. And then he gets injured and he's like, I see him now coming back. I think he's even better.
Yeah.
We all thought he was going to be good. Obviously his brother, but he was remarkable in 19. Yeah. And now, like, how good you've been around some excellent defensive players in your time, obviously in the Harbaugh era with some of those guys up front. Yeah. How good can this guy be?
Unbelievable. And I think what was and I completely agree with Trent's assessment. He's the one that's blocking him, but just the 2 days and 3 days that I was around the team, I saw someone that was completely driven to prove that he's back and better. And I think that's the cool thing about Nick is that he's a very process-driven athlete. He's very, very regimented in what he does, and he's very goal-oriented. So for coming back from an injury like a torn ACL, if you set the standard, it'll be like, hey, you have to be here in a month. Or if you set a benchmark of like, hey, in 3 months, I want you to be able to do this, this, and this. He's going to exceed those every single time because the way his mind works and the way he was raised. I think what made Nick so impressive to me in his rookie season was there was no learning period for him. He came in the first day that I went against him and was like, this guy is already studying my set. He already understands where my deficiencies are, and he's going to be the one that makes me better this training camp, not me making him better. He already is a polished pass rusher, and he understands like the art of pass rushing, not just, hey, I'm athletic, I'm big, I'm going to try to use my athleticism to win, which a lot of rookies coming into the league takes them time to do that and figure it out. But Nick had that from day one. And then I think that coupled with the way his mind is and wanted to always prove to himself and to other people that he's better than these expectations. I know he told me personally, he's like, because I was kind of razzing him a little bit about, I don't know, man, he came back from an ACL. He might have lost a step a little bit. And he looked at me dead in the eye and he was like, no, I've gained a step. And I was like, all right, sorry. He's intimidating dude, man. I was like, all right. But he didn't say it like with enthusiasm. He was like, no, I gained a step.
That's a good Bosa.
Yeah. That is a good Bosa.
You have to do it with the arms, though. His arms are always like, yeah.
Is that what his six-pack abs are sticking out of his, and he's got the thing rolled up?
Like biker shorts, yeah.
Oh, dude, I was crushing him. I saw a picture of the first 2 days of camp, and I was like, what's up with your uniform right now? And he goes, what? I'm wearing my shoulder pads and my pants. I'm like, your pants are barely covering anything. And then your shoulder pads, like I've never seen someone roll it up so much. He's just like, yeah, it's just, I just like, I get hot and just like, what? I'm like, no, you want everybody to see how hard you've been working. I get it.
All right, John, that was Joe Staley on the podcast talking about Nick Bosa. You can hear the full thing in the pod or watch the full video on this YouTube channel. Sounds like he believes Nick Bosa when Nick Bosa tells him he's going to be back even better this year. He is back even better. No pitch count. Bosa's free to play as much as they want him to play week 1 against the Lions. What do you think?
Well, I think when you look at the recent, just the last decade of guys that popped, that were drafted really high, the Von Millers, Khalil Macks, there have been a short list. Bosa falls right in there, and his brother Joey, that it was clear right away they could really play. And obviously Khalil and Vaughn, and even Joey battled injuries, but Nick had a devastating, laid there and had to be carted off the field. So anytime that happens to any player, young or old, your heart drops. And I think we all just naturally think like, oh my God. Now, modern medicine, guys bounce back. Adrian Peterson once did it, felt like in 2 months. You and I have been at practice. He looks like a freak, right? And we talked to him about like what Trent Williams said, how he's even better now. He amazed me how good he was as a rookie. I did not think he was going to be that good. He was remarkable. And you and I have talked about it over the years. He was way better than like Khalil Mack, who's a borderline probably Hall of Famer. He was infinitely better than him as a rookie. Just his pass rush moves and his ability. But he was also unreal against the run. I remember plays throughout the season, him like covering backs out of the backfield. You're like, who is this guy? He was, I don't think you can ask anything more when you draft a guy that high. He was everything they wanted after rookie season. Like when that season ended, obviously they lost the Super Bowl, but if you just ask John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, did your guy live up to the billing drafting that high? They would have said he was even better than we imagined. I don't know how you couldn't say that, right? He was that remarkable as a rookie.
Yeah. The only question for Bosa is health. That's the only question. Because, you look back at the rookie season, 9 sacks. I mean, if he's back and better, then why isn't 14.5 sacks, an option?
I think that the range, mid-teens.
Look, TJ Watt, as we record this, just got a contract of $80 million guaranteed at signing, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly, the agent wanted him to get more, the Schefter report is, and TJ stormed into the Rooney's office and said, I want to get this done. Now, who's his agent?
Probably a top guy.
Maybe Steinberg or something.
Yeah.
The agent community, if you are Nick Bosa's agent, you want it known that TJ Watt took less than market value because you think you're going to get, in 2 years, $100 million guaranteed at signing. TJ Watt was 13 sacks, 14.5 sacks, 15 sacks the last 3 years. So with the talent is there, that's where the money can be, we think. But can he put together that kind of production? Can Bosa go out and do – that was year 2 was 13 sacks for TJ Watt. We're already past year 2 for Bosa. 14.5 actually was year 3, so we're right on the money there. And then 15 in year 4, which led the league in that category.
Yeah. And he's a guy I didn't mention in that group because he was drafted. It's an incredible pick by the Steelers, right, in the 20s. But he's become Nick Bosa or Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack. Like he's an elite player. I saw Roethlisberger say yesterday he's arguably the best player in the league. And I think the Niners, and you listen to Joe talk, Trent Williams talk, they talk about this guy like that. To me, the only question is, if you tell me he plays 17 games this season, I'll say he's easily a top 3 candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. If he plays, 0 reservations, he's going to kick ass and take names. I'd throw his brother in this category too. The only question is, would the Niners sign up right now 13 games? Would they sign on the dotted line?
That means misses 4.
You know how many games TJ Watt's missed in his career?
How many?
2 in 4 years. 2 games, 4 years. So out of 64 games, he's played 62. I mean, he's pretty reliable.
I mean, that's as good as it gets, that pick.
Yeah, you can't get any better. I mean, that's for a defensive lineman, right? I mean, I think the Niners would just feel very good about a stretch of like 2 straight years. You miss a total of 3 games, right? Something like that.
Yep.
So when you say 13,
I wouldn't take that.
You can't, because they're expecting him to be
because that's less than his rookie year.
Yeah, to me, they're expecting they have no problem in 2 years giving him $90 million at signing. But it's more than just talent. It is for the next 34 games. Can you play in 33 of them? Because if you can, then it's a no-brainer. Because he'll end up. If I tell you he plays 33 games in the next 2 years, what would you put a sack number at?
33 games in 2 years?
Yeah. So he misses just 1.
30?
Yeah. I think you could argue it could even be higher than 33. It's not inconceivable that he has like a 15 and a 19 or something, 19 and a 14, something pretty big.
We saw it 2 years ago. If the Niners are good, if they're scoring points, if they're running the ball and controlling the clock, then teams are playing from behind and have to throw more. Like that's part of the pass rushers really helped out when he's on a team that plays with the lead. Not that he necessarily needs the help, but
when you're on good teams and you're a good pass rusher, you're going to rack up more sacks. Right?
All right, so far we've got Trent Williams and Joe Staley say Nick Bosa's a beast and is going to be back better than ever this year. Got it. And Nick Bosa says it.
Yeah.
Like a true pass rusher should.